What's going on, everybody? Ash here with a news update on the brand new Sonic game that was recently revealed in the Sonic Central presentation, or at the very end of the Sonic Central presentation. Now, before I move on, I just want to make it very clear that this update is likely to contain genuine spoilers for not only the new Sonic game's name, but several of its gameplay mechanics and some of the content we might be able to expect to see in the final game. So, if you're spoiler wary and you don't want to know all this stuff yet, it's best to duck out now. Also, with that said, I also do just want to have a regular disclaimer that some of this information does come from 4chan, so, obviously take it with a grain of salt, but as you'll see pretty soon, there is reason to believe that what I'm about to cover here is genuine. So, with that said, let's move right on. So this story starts with PT Kickass on Twitter, who is digging around in the 4K version of the new Sonic game's teaser trailer, and they found some interesting stuff. Namely, a bunch of text strings referring to something called Sonic Rangers. And not only that, but the name or the word Rangers just appears over and over again in the metadata. So, from that, we can possibly conclude that the new Sonic game's name actually is Sonic Rangers, or at the very least, that it has a working title of Project Sonic Rangers, or something like that. But here's the thing. It's almost certainly going to be actually called Sonic Rangers, because the other part of the story that really blows things up is the fact that an anonymous 4chan post appeared way back in January 6th to be exact, titled Sonic Rangers New Sonic Game by Sonic Team. So this was several months ago before, anybody even saw this teaser trailer today, and yeah, I mean, that it seems like it's a really interesting coincidence, and by that I mean not at all a coincidence. But this anonymous poster, claims they focus tested the new Sonic game, which they say is called Sonic Rangers, and they say it's an open-world adventure game taking heavy inspiration from Breath of the Wild. Apparently they played 2 demos, a 20-minute long exploration of the open world, and a boss battle. They go on to kind of detail what they played. They say that the open world is populated with small enemies, puzzles, and platforming challenges, and that completing puzzles and defeating those enemies and such will reward experience that can be redeemed in a skill tree, which sounds pretty standard. Now, said skill tree apparently unlocks abilities like the spin cycle, where when you hold a button, in this case the Y button, I guess based on whatever demo they were playing, Sonic will start tracing a line behind him. And if you finish a circle, it attacks all enemies inside the circle. Now, what's interesting about that is, what can we see in this, brief teaser trailer that we, all just saw for the first time? Well, Sonic traces a circle. Now, of course, it doesn't, we don't see any enemies being damaged within that circle. We don't see any enemies, period. But the fact that the detail here is that Sonic is tracing a line behind him, and specifically there's a circle shape mentioned, that's a pretty significant part of this teaser trailer. They go on to talk about how the homing attack returns. There are apparently bosses spread throughout the open world, and that defeating them grants orbs. And if you collect enough orbs, you can then go to a portal and go to quote-unquote cyberspace. And then they go on to detail the cyberspace levels, which are apparently generation style, which I personally take to mean the boost style gameplay that was popularized in the day half of Sonic Unleashed, the modern Sonic levels in Sonic Generations, that kind of thing. That's what I think that means. And they also detail that the music goes hard, which certainly does line up with Sonic in general. That doesn't surprise me at all. Apparently, beating these cyberspace levels fast enough grants you a Chaos Emerald, but unfortunately, they do say that, at least in their experience, exploration and combat basically was super boring, very button-mashy, but they also, and here's another weird quote-unquote coincidence, is that they say the game, or what they played, included new voice acting by Roger Craig Smith. And guess what? We just got confirmation that Roger Craig Smith would be returning to the role of Sonic. So, too much of this is lining up for it to be a coincidence, in our opinion, but there's a little bit more here. So, talking about the boss demo, apparently after gathering all the Chaos Emeralds, you cut through a thick fog you couldn't before in the open world, and you fight a gigantic tree robot thing. Maybe it's piloted by Eggman, who knows, but yeah, it's like a tree robot creature thing, and you can fly around it as Supersonic, using the spin cycle and other abilities, but apparently you're just mainly mashing buttons. You can't take damage, which does track considering you're Supersonic. You're on a timer of rings, which also, again, so far so familiar. And here's what's interesting though, apparently a ghost girl refills your ring count multiple times. So it almost seems like you can't fail, but that's probably a focus test specific thing. That sounds like something that would be in a focus test. And then they finally conclude by saying the demo ends after defeating the boss. They also add that they feel the game is still definitely early on in development, so it did seem pretty rough according to them. But it wasn't fun based on what they played. Now, of course, I think, it's important not to draw too many conclusions here. Clearly, if this person is legitimate and, getting things like the title Sonic Rangers and a bunch of like the circle attack and that it seems like this is all pretty legit. But either way, even if it is, it does seem as though they played a very early build, and it's possible that, a lot of what they were complaining about has since been fixed, or is in the process of being fixed, or, polished up. So, it's important not to draw too many conclusions here. But, yeah, it does seem as though details on this new Sonic game were available right under all our noses on 4chan since January, and the whole Sonic Rangers thing, that's just... You can't make that up. That's the fact that was the name that appeared in this 4chan post back in January, and is now, mirrored in the metadata that PT Kickass found in the 4K version of the teaser trailer. That all seems to line up. So that's where we're at now. We're just gonna have to wait for more details on from Sega themselves when they want to actually show us more of the game, show us some actual gameplay footage. But with that said, we want to hear what you think in the comments. What do you think about the idea of an open world Sonic game based on Breath of the Wild? Does any of this sound interesting to you? Are you not sure? We want to hear what you think in the comments below, so let us know. But with that, that'll do it for us today. So thank you all for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell to get notified when we upload new content, and otherwise, we'll see you next time. Alright, bye everybody!